What is your name and what was your profession?
Clinical pharmacist. And my name is Anthony James McDermott.
Also known as?
Jim. I was born in Montreal, 1931. My father immigrated into Montreal when they were building the Jacques-Cartier Bridge, 1930. And my mother came over from Manchester at the following year, and I was born in 1931.
And they lived where in Montreal? That's right.
In the east, it was Ville-de-Salle would be the area.
And so what did your father do as a profession when he got here?
He worked for Canadian Vickers building ships. He had his what they call a chief ticket, and he could run big ships if he wanted to. He was a chief engineer. He was a marine engineer.
And your mother stayed at home?
My mother stayed at home, yes.
You have siblings?
I have two, yes, I had two brothers.
Two brothers. And where were you in the...
I was the firstborn, and then 4 years later I had a second son, and then my third brother was born 14 years later.
Whoa. So you were like almost a father figure to him.
I was told by my father to look after his brothers. I was living in the east end of Montreal, which was primarily a French-Canadian area, and he told me to look after them. And a normal going to school in the morning, I had to go by two French-Canadian stools, so I had to use my, should I say, fists many a time to protect myself and to protect my brothers.
Was it very heated at that time, the English and the French?
Well, I never spoke French until I went to the university. So I did all my course at St. Aloysius Parish, and then I went to a Catholic high school in the center of Montreal.
Which one?
I mean,
which school?
Catholic high school on Durocher Street.
Oh, yeah. That's what it's called? Catholic high school?
It was called Catholic High School, CHS.
So they took the description and they just gave it the name.
Yeah, it was the Presentation Brothers were our teachers at that time.
Strict?
They were strict. They were, to me, they were fine gentlemen. Fine gentlemen.
So you're raised Catholic?
Ultra-Catholic. I served Mass at 7:30. I used to serve 7:30 Mass, and I had to walk 12 blocks to go to church, and serve Father Griffin's Mass at 7:30 in the morning, and then I would come back when I was given permission to be a little bit late in school, because when you were late, you received the strap, But I just came back from church so I could go into my classroom, but I had served Mass. I did that almost, I say 3-4 months every second or third month.
Whoa.
And then from then I became an altar boy, and I became the head altar boy later on, and I served Mass until I was 20 years old.
And so you finish high school, you graduate what year?
I graduated from high school in 1948. I wrote my entrance exams at the University of Montreal in French, and then I did my next 4 years, my full course in French. When I graduated cum laude, which means I had an average of 75% in every subject over 4 years.
You never went down. You never dipped.
No.
You were very consistent.
I was brought up by a very strict father that when I graduated, he told me I could have done better. Well, better would have been summa cum laude. I was just cum laude with distinction.
So you graduate university...
1953.
53.
I worked for Montreal Pharmacy. At that time, was on 916 St. Catherine East. That was the largest pharmacy in the province of Quebec, owned by Mr. Duquette. I was the only English-speaking employee amongst 120 employees. I was number 110.
Any English customers?
No. I used to answer that when we were on a telephone booth, and every time there was an English call, they would have it transferred to me. I would handle all the English calls. I worked there for 3 years at Montreal Pharmacy. I worked in every department except the photography.
While you were in university?
While I was at university.
As an internship or as a job?
As a job.
So you're working at this place, and at what point did you say, I want my own place?
We were living in my own place. Well, then I was married by then. I got married on the 1st of August, and I opened my pharmacy the 1st of September 1953.
So tell me about this time when you were an employee.
An employee, yeah.
From an employee to a business owner. What was that process like? Why didn't you just want to stay an employee? You wanted more. I had enough experience to operate a pharmacy on my own. So that's what I decided. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so then tell me about the shopping around process. Did you look all over?
No.
Why decide Valois?
I was working for Burke's Pharmacy in Montreal West, okay? And somebody it was a gentleman by the name of Templeman who had a store in Montreal West, and he wanted to open up a store in Valois, Quebec.
Yes, okay.
And that's when I got in contact with Dr. Ranger, who was looking for rentals for tenants for his shopping center.
Is this his wife by any chance?
Templeman, yeah. Is that, what's marked there, label?
John B.
Oh, could it be John D. Templeman?
John B.
He sold dresses.
And this is his wife?
I presume, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be his wife.
So John D. Templeman, who you knew, how did you know him again?
Because he had a store where I was working at Burke's Pharmacy in Montreal West, and he had a store there at Templeman's also.
And so
in Montreal West.
And he was shopping around for a location.
And he was aware that they were building a shopping center in Valois, and he told me about it, and I got interested into it, and I went out and I signed a lease for the rental of his space for I think it was 300 square feet at that time.
So when he says to you, and I'm sorry if this is specific, but when he says to you, there's a place in Valois where they're building
where he was going to open up a dress shop.
Right? So was your first impression, where the heck is Valois? Or did you know Valois?
No, I did not know.
So what questions do you have once someone says Valois? Where is it? How many people are there? Is there already a pharmacy there? Or what do you need to know?
I was interested in opening a pharmacy. I didn't ask all those questions. I wanted a pharmacy, okay?
And so when you went to Valois to see this place,
yes,
and you saw the village.
They would not. The owner of the shopping center wouldn't accept me. So my old boss, Mr. Morris Burke of Montreal, Burke's Pharmacy, signed for me if you wanted, and I signed also.
Because he didn't think you could make rent.
He didn't ask any questions.
How old were you?
Was 23. 22, 23.
So in 1953, is 22 still considered a very young age? Because I know it's changed now, right?
Yes, 22
now they're still in the house.
Yeah, I was 22. I would be 22, yeah.
So that was young. To open up a pharmacy?
Yeah.
With 3-4 years experience? Is that what made him...
I had 1, 2, 3, I had about 3 years experience.
Was there a pharmacy already in Valois?
Yes, there was. It's called Wendell Johnson, who used to be at the Dorval, at the Valois crossing.
Yeah, and that building, that thatched
That's
type.
it. That one sells dog food or something like that there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a registered pharmacy, yes.
So,
But it was run by his I think he had two sisters or a sister or his wife, and they operated the store. Things were not very strict in those days.
So what did you think that you were going to come in and give this guy competition, or were you going to be able to give the community something that they didn't have?
They didn't have.
And what
Because
was
I also rented the store, but also I made a sublease with a soda bar, which was something very, very, very attractive.
Yeah, so why did you do that?
Well, it was to help me pay the rent. I had a soda bar, and the soda bar came from a gentleman by the name of Leo Opolsky, who had a small little restaurant in Montreal West. So Leo Soda Bar, that's right, McDermott Pharmacy. Leo Opolsky.
So he was seen as an independent business, but it's like he was just renting space in your...
Yeah, he rented space in my pharmacy. So my $300 a month, I was collecting $100 from him.
How did he do?
He did well. He was there for many years. And when McGill Construction was on, every morning I used to be in my pharmacy at 7 o'clock in the morning because the restaurant for breakfast was full. All the employees of McGill Construction were there.
So you got to know them quite well.
Very well.
Wow. And Louis B. McGill, would he come by?
Remember?
Louis B. McGill would...
Was the main contractor of all the houses in Valois.
Did he ever come by?
Well, he used to come in and have breakfast.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
You have conversation with him?
Not very much, no.
No, eh? Wow. So the soda bar thing, it's very...
Made it lucrative. It helped me a lot.
It's very 50s also. It's the soda bar,
Yeah.
And also...
The soda bar was open at 7 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night.
Do you remember any favorites that people had? Were there any staples, any favorites that people...
Food.
Just food. Not like a specific drink or something that he used to do.
It was food.
Just food.
Food.
I love it. That's good. It's good enough for me. So here I have a picture here of the quality's not too great, but the quality's not too great here. So that's a picture of your first customer.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I remember that, yes. I don't remember the name, but they were the first two customers that I served. The lady beside me is my wife, I think.
At the left is proprietor A.J. McDermott with his brother Ted
Yes.
McDermott and Mrs. A.J. Mrs. A.J. McDermott. I
Yes.
never use the wife's name in those days.
Those were the first two customers.
How did they become the first two? They were just there? Or?
There was a lineup of people coming to before we opened the door.
Really?
Yeah.
They couldn't wait to come in and to...
No, I didn't open the store until 8 o'clock that morning.
Where did the lineup come from? How did they learn about the store? What did they...
Well, there was a building. There was a sign going up, McDermott Pharmacy. There was a soda bar. It was, what? A soda bar in Valois? It was something.
Because what else was there at the time for... Because these were also brand new malls. Valois hadn't seen anything brand new for...
No.
I think a little while.
Oh,
Quite a while.
Was empty.
So,
Because the Donegal used to stop from the railway crossing, go east along Donegal to Chester. That's when it stopped. And it was only many years later that Donegal was longer to join into Cardinal Avenue.
And Donegal in those days was right in front of the malls, right? There was no
That's
parking
right.
lot there. It was right in front.
Right
of
in
the
front of the mall, yeah.
Right in front of the malls.
Yeah.
So what's interesting also is in the '53 you were in the middle of a baby boom, so there was a lot of babies happening.
Yes.
So and Vowel was kind of having a boom itself.
All
right?
new families. They were buying the homes from McGill, and
also you had new schools at the time.
we had new schools. Yeah.
Now, St. John Fisher was fairly new.
John Fisher was.
Wasn't in yet, I don't think.
There was the Lee.
St. John Fisher wasn't there, I don't think.
No, it was not there.
The
That
church
was a new church. The church was not there.
Oh.
Because I used to go to mass at the Saint Joachim in the old Pointe-Claire,
Yeah.
which dates back to 1775.
Yes, it does.
Did you know that?
Yeah. Did you move to Valois?
Yes. I rented an apartment above the pharmacy, which I paid to the same proprietor, Dr. Hubert, and I paid $75 a month for rental.
Did your old boss have to co-sign on that too?
No. No.
So business was good from the beginning,
Right from the very beginning.
but Valois was having a bit of a golden era, I think, at that time.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe everything was new. New people,
And the
new
community
customers.
was strong.
Yeah. I always felt I was there for a purpose to help people, and I did everything possible. And if I served the customer and the customer didn't have the cash, I would tell them, you come back and you pay me whenever you want.
The Pointe-Claire continues to grow in the 1950s. It was
That's
a
right.
huge
The word Donegani actually comes from the Valois Association. That's where the word Donegani came from.
Yeah, he was a president, I think, of the Valois Citizens Association.
I think that's right.
But
Yeah.
that's going back to the 20s.
Yeah, that's going back. Yeah.
That's going back to the 20s. I'm not sure. Was it called Donegal at that time when you were there? It
We,
was.
right up until Chester,
And then it was nothing.
there was nothing. The field.
So where was Sources?
Sources Road was at the on the other was at Dorval.
So Cardinal went up to Sources Road or something? Or
No. I think Cardinal ended. They used to cross at Dorval, okay, and if they went down again, if they went west along down again, and it stopped right there.
So how would they cross over if they wanted to?
They would have to cross at the Dorval crossing, and then come to the Valois and come the Valois crossing.
Oh, they'd have to go down then back
Yeah.
up. When the Valois crossing was still open.
When the Valois cross was still open, yeah.
They closed it, I think, in '53 or something.
Well, they used to have a guy working with a switcher. My wife was crossing the Valois at the Valois crossing, and she was hit sideways with a priest driving with two nuns. And my wife was not seriously injured. She wasn't injured, but the car was smashed.
This is the highway when she was
That's
crossing
right.
the highway. Where was she going to the lakeshore?
She was crossing. She was crossing, turning right to go across the Valois crossing.
Oh my God. Okay, so by the late '50s, let's say by what '57 or so, you learn that they're building another mall.
Yes, 1958.
So tell me about how you learned. How did you know that they were building another mall? Did Templeton come to you again and say,
No,
Jim, they're
no,
doing
no.
it again?
No. This was a shopping center, and it was Ivanhoe Corporation.
Yeah, that's right.
And I went to Ivanhoe were on east end of Montreal. The office went to their rental office, and I think it was $1,200 a month rent at that time, and I signed the lease there. September the 15th, 1958.
That's not too long before it opened. Were you the last spot to be rented out?
No, that was the opening day.
Because I think October 15th was the opening.
No,
In fact, I have the opening day flyer.
September the 15th
September 15th is when it opened.
was when I opened my pharmacy. Now there were other stores that were not open at the same time.
This is when they did a big sod the dirt turning and everything.
They had Boom Boom Jeffrey over there
Did you go
as
to
a
the
guest.
opening day?
Hey,
You went to the opening day?
I was there.
Tell me about you. But you were open already. 'Cause
I was already open, yeah.
But that happened in October, I think.
But they and one of the guests of honor was Boom Boom Jeffrey, the hockey player.
Did you meet him?
Nope,
You were working.
I was working.
Here, I'll show you. This is the opening day flyer.
Yeah. Grand opening, Pointe-Claire Shopping Center, yeah.
And it says here they had fireworks. It was like
It was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was more than a day. They had hula hoop competitions. They gave away a car. Boom Boom Jeffrey was the guy who gave away a car. They were giving away bicycles, birthday cakes, balloons.
That was Ivanhoe Corporation. They had a professional office. They did all this kind of stuff for the opening, for the shop. It wasn't any of the merchants. It was entirely separate from the shopping center.
What was the prospect of the Pointe-Claire Shopping Center for you? Was it brand new and modern? And tell me a little bit about that.
It was St. John. It was St. John's Road.
Yeah.
So at that time, St. John's Road. When you came up to St. John's Road, you could turn into the shopping center, and then the mayor, Sege, decided that there was no more turn, so they had to go around to continue. But he would not permit a left-hand turn coming down the hill. He wouldn't permit it to go into the shopping center.
Right.
You had to go around.
Right.
Where was the mayor Sege at
When
that
they built
time?
the overpass.
When they had the overpass, yeah.
I want to read you something here.
Read it.
This is in the opening day flyer for the Pointe-Claire Shopping Center. So this is about McDermott's. It says, speaking about a customer's experience at McDermott's, okay? Specifically Pointe-Claire Shopping Center. She can drop a film to be developed, pay the phone bill, buy that almost forgotten card for Cousin Maud, post it right on the premises, play with the stiff animals with Junior, take a break for a snack or a full course meal in Jim Smith's 32-stool luncheonette.
Jim Smith, yes.
Then chat about beauty aids and buy what she wants, because at McDermott's she can, I'll repeat it, she can buy whatever she wants, because at McDermott's she can
What?
She can charge it.
Oh, yeah, sure. Also, I had a photography part of the front part of the store. I had subleased an area for photography, okay? And also on the other side of inside the store, I had a jewelry store also there operating. Also, they were all helping me pay the rent.
So you had, so this stool, the Jim Smith's.
Jim Smith, yeah, he was operating a soda bar.
Now, did Woolworth have a soda bar too?
He had a soda bar there too, yeah.
The same kind of thing?
Same kind of thing.
So did you get a lot of John Rennie students coming down for...
Yeah, they used to do it. They did a lot of shoplifting also.
Well, they might be watching this. But the John Rennie students would come for lunchtime at McDermott's at the soda bar.
That's right.
It was a regular thing.
Oh, yeah.
At lunchtime.
Especially the lunchtime.
Yeah. And
I'd have to have extra staff on the floor at that time because they used to shoplift.
it still happens today.
Now, where you were in the Pointe-Claire shopping center, is it where Papillon is? That?
I was next to the restaurant.
Yeah, so Papillon, I guess. Where Papillon ended up.
I don't know.
Papillon is the bulk food store. The Papillon.
No, I don't remember.
You were just next to Topaz.
It was next to Topaz. Yeah.
You were just to the right of Topaz, and then next to you was what's his name? And then you were so lucky to be given a nice little welcome basket.
Welcome wagon, yeah. This was a promotion when everyone had new residents. The welcome wagon used to go, and then we would have a pile of stuff that we'd give to the new owners of their home.
But they did it to the new owners of the plaza, of the shopping center.
No.
Yeah, this is the...
No. This is Welcome Wagon was an organization that used to pick up articles at my pharmacy, okay, and they would present it to the new owners of the new home.
Oh, they were coming to see you to fill up the basket.
That's right.
Not to give you the basket.
No.
Okay. So I'll read what it says here. It says, Welcome Wagon representatives call on Mr. Jim McDermott, Vice President and Treasurer of the Merchants Association
Yes.
of Pointe-Claire Shopping Center and Chairman of its Advertising Committee. That's a lot of titles. And a Welcome Wagon sponsor.
Yeah, I was the Welcome
so
Wagon
you were the Vice
sponsor.
President, you were the Treasurer, you were the Chairman of Advertising, and you sponsored the Welcome Wagon.
Yeah.
How long were you at the shopping center for?
Pointe-Claire Shopping Center?
Yeah.
Oh, I was 22 when I started. That would have been 60. I'd be probably about 28, 29.
And then you left. When did you leave the shopping center?
Why did I leave?
When did you leave the Pointe-Claire shopping center?
Because I opened up another one on St. Charles Road. Somehow I got out of the lease out of the one in the Pointe-Claire shopping center.
How long were you there for?
5, 6 years.
Not long.
No. I don't know how I got out of it, but I got out of it.
How long was the lease? Was it a 10-year lease?
No, it wasn't fixed.
Oh, it wasn't fixed?
It was not fixed.
And then where were you on St. John's?
48.70.
Is that $1 now?
No, careful.
Oh, you
Pure
went
Fall.
all the way up.
Yeah.
What's there now? Do you know?
Dollar store.
It's a dollar store now.
So this is you had this car because you were making home deliveries.
Yeah, we were making deliveries. Yeah.
Home deliveries. How big of an area were you covering with?
We were doing Beaconsfield, Beaurepaire, Dorval, and Pointe-Claire. Yeah, that was my area. We did not go north of the Trans-Canada Highway. Everything was south of the Trans-Canada Highway. That's he was Santa Claus. He was a professional bum, if you want. Okay, he was a great friend.
What did you call him?
A bum, B-U-M.
A professional bum.
He was a professional
So
bum.
he made money being a beggar, being a bum.
Yeah, and he was a great friend of Jim Smith's soda bar, of the soda bar.
Right.
And I got him the job as Santa Claus during the Christmas period.
Okay.
And I had the owners of the shopping center paying him his salary, and he used to sleep in the boiler room at the Pointe-Claire shopping center.
The border room.
Yeah, the boiler room.
Oh, where was he slept in the boiler room at the point?
Well, the boiler room was at the end of the shopping center.
And he would be in between the two buildings, right?
That's right.
Outside. So okay, I have to tell you, there's a woman who I did a tour with. Her mother worked at Reitman's. No, Fifth Avenue.
Reitman's?
No,
Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, her mother
Fifth-
worked at Fifth Avenue, and her father worked for Mike Mastro Barber Shop. So she was in the shopping center a lot.
Okay.
And she said she remembers going at Christmas time, going to see Santa, and he smelled like alcohol. Could this be the same one?
Possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
I never smelt them.
So you had to keep warm.
Well, I never had any bad results from him. He was, as far as I know, he was very kind, and he used to greet children, and he kind of looked forward to the job.
Was he the first Santa Claus?
He was the first Santa Claus, yeah.
How many years did he do it? Do you know?
Oh, at least 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, well, he disappeared after Christmas. He disappeared. The pressure used to hitchhike, go out to the West Coast.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he would come back
He would come back.
when the toys were ready?
Well, and he'd get the same old job, and I think he did for at least mine out anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
And he would sleep in the boiler room.
He would sleep in the boiler room.
And all you know is that he was a friend of Jim Smith's.
He was a friend of Jim, and he used to eat at the soda bar, Jim Smith, and Jim never charged him anything.
And you never asked him, what's the deal with this guy? Where do you know him from? Or what's the...
Well, he was just a friend of Jim Smith, that's all.
You know, it's funny. Today, people would ask questions. Who is this guy? What's his deal? But you were straight. Were you straight shooting? It's not my business. He does his job. He comes in. He does his thing. I don't need to know anything.
Yeah, you could get, if he was short of money, I'd give him $5. Yeah, sure.
Well, he was doing good things for the kids.
Sure.
But Santa Claus was, at that time, it wasn't just, on weekends. He was
Say he was there 7. He was, I would say, at least 2 weeks prior to Christmas.
But every day.
Yeah, every day.
Now it's one day out of the year. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. But that's what I read that. Now, did he show up in helicopter?
Once.
For the first one, I think.
Yeah.
Who organized that? You're kidding.
From Dorval Shopping, from the Dorval Airport.
Okay, how do you? Because
Because he used to land on the roof of where Woolworths was.
right.
Yeah.
Now it's now the unit.
I know because I was in a helicopter with Santa Claus.
Because they did it at the Dorval Gardens as well. I think.
Yeah, well, we used to take off at Dorval, a little bit north of the airport. There was a helicopter pad that went there,
Yeah.
and I was there, with Santa Claus.
Unbelievable. And so, whose idea? I mean, it was your idea, but how did you? Is this what they did back then, or did you think, what's really going to make people go crazy? Because I've done a couple of Christmas things for the shopping center, like videos, to promote, and I'm always going with the nostalgic vibe and what happened in the past. And I was always amazed that a helicopter brought Santa one time, and you organized it.
Yeah.
So they put it in the paper. Come at this day and this time, Santa's coming by helicopter.
That's right.
And that's when this picture happened. So this is so that's got to be 58 then.
Yeah.
The first Christmas of the Plaza's
Of
open.
the shopping center. Yeah.
Well, you must have been popular with the other merchants if you're doing this.
But they paid
Everyone pitched in.
Yeah, it was split up amongst all the merchants.
Was everybody in the Merchants Association at that time?
You had to be.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. You had to be.
To get what benefit?
Well, you had to because if we had special events on, we had to. I mean, boom, boom. Jeffrey didn't come for nothing, He had to be slipped. I don't think it was $25 or $50 or something like that.
Who was the first president of the Merchants Association?
Dave Fields. Fields, Fields. He was a German. Prisoner of the Germans in the Second World War.
Wow.
And he operated Fields dressing. I think he had a relative or so, and she ran the store for him. They used to sell children's clothing. Fields.
And the store was called Fields.
Yeah, Fields. Fields.
Do you remember whereabouts?
It would be our pharmacy was there. You had it was in the part there. It would be north of where Woolworths was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a little bit north of there.
Oh, I see. Oh, interesting. It was children's clothes.
Children's clothing, yeah.
What I want to know is what is going on with this picture here.
That's Chief Gillette.
Yeah.
Yep. And this was Kurt Langworth and Feedy. Kurt Langworth, he was we paid, the Merchants Association paid for their swimsuits, because I used to live on, I still do, on the lakeshore. There was a boy that was in a little plastic boat, if you want, and he flipped over and he had drowned. And Langworth came with another officer, and I had a net, and they used the net to try, and they walked in the water and they found the boy. Oh boy, that was tough. That was tough.
And after that, the Merchants Association decided to...
We got together and we bought them, or we paid for two
scuba suits.
scuba suits, yeah, that they were held at the fire station at that time.
They didn't have anything before that?
No. No, they had, after that, later on, they had a boat with a motor on it. That's all.
Wow. So here it says, Mrs. B. Carmen, member of the sales staff at McDermott's Pharmacy, Vawa, peers through a gap in the boards, hiding smashed plate glass window. The accident occurred when a car skidded over the curb in attempting to park in front of the drugstore.
Yeah, the guy was supposed to drive out. He put it in reverse and stepped on the gas, and he smashed into the back into the window of the Vawa in my pharmacy in Vawa.
Whoa.
I don't remember.
So here, let me show you a picture of yourself. This is the picture actually that your granddaughter saw that made me say, oh, there's still McDermott's out there.
No, telephone numbers.
Yeah.
Oxford.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a special line fixed with Bell Telephone because it was long distance. From Vawa to Dorval was long distance. To Montreal was long distance.
Just Vawa to Dorval was long distance.
It was long distance from Vawa to the center of Montreal on St. Antoine Street. When I used to give my order to Charles E. Frost, I'd get a charge from Bell Telephone.
And you'd have to place these orders daily? Or?
I had to pay once a month what I got. It was added to my telephone bill. So I organized to get Melrose,
Okay.
13331, but I still had to pay until, I don't know when they discontinued it.
But Melrose was a downtown number.
Yep.
But so that's cheaper than paying the long distance fees.
No, I had to pay. I was charged long distance. For me, from Vawa to anywhere in Montreal was a long distance call.
But that's why you got the Melrose number.
Yep.
Wow. So you knew a lot of the local doctors, the local GPs?
Yes.
At that time? Let's say in the 50s, was there a lot of doctors in those days?
When I first started, it was Dr. Busby from the village of Pointe-Claire.
Okay.
So I was the new kid on the block, and they didn't give me very many prescriptions. It was Dr. John Hay, and there was another doctor, Hay. There was another doctor also. And their office used to be on Lakeshore Road in the village of Pointe-Claire. The secretary, her name was Miss Beebe. She used to live on Chester Avenue.
So here, let me show you, if you know this guy, Dr. Brennan.
Lyle Brennan. He was a good guy.
Yeah?
He was a good guy. Lyle Brennan, he was a good guy. He was an excellent doctor. Did house call after house call.
So just in closing, I'm curious, you lived in Vawa until when?
I lived in Vawa until I bought my home at in Dorval. 58, wasn't it?
Yeah.
58.
So being in Vawa for that many years, when would you say was kind of the golden years for you for Vawa?
from 1953 till I opened up the one in Pointe-Claire Shopping Center. Those were the golden years. Because we were the only stores, we were the only stores that were open, you know. There was a hardware store, there was John Mills, there was the bicycle shop, and then there was Templeman's dress shop. So they were the golden years. Were they the golden years? I don't know.
But the years because when people talk about Valois in those years, it's like they're talking about a different country, you know? It's Valois.
I remember driving from Quebec City. I got stopped by the police in front of the shopping center in the East End of Montreal. So I said, he stopped me and he pulled up my license, and he says, I can't come back. He said, I live in Valois. It's much far from me. He said, how much do I owe you? Well, he said, I said, can I pay the ticket now? Yeah, but he said, my buddy's with me. Okay, so I gave him $20, $10, and I paid my ticket right there. Valois, they didn't even know where it was, for God's sake.
Anything you want to say about your time as a pharmacist or your time in Valois specifically, about the community that you got to know in the community?
I would do it all over again. I was born with the sense of helping people. I see it now. I was terrified of my father because I became a pharmacist and my brother became a pharmacist, and it's only after many, many years I found out that my father's sister was a pharmacist in the First World War. And pharmacists were not up in the front lines, they were behind the lines. So this is where I think we got the orders to become pharmacists. Should there be a war, we would not be in the front lines, because in 1914, you were in the front lines. It was one battle against another, man against man in those days. So that I found out much later what it was all about.
Well, you had, when did the big kind of franchise pharmacies start to come in? Jean Coutu.
Jean Coutu was in my class.
Yeah.
He used to sit in front of me.
Was he a franchise at that point?
No.
No.
McDermott was one of the first to do the van sales.
The van sales.
Yeah, we used to sell like 12.
We used to sell 42,000
Oh, I didn't
pounds.
ask you about the van sales.
Yeah, we used to sell
Is
42.
that this? No.
No, it was right there, yeah.
He would get like a real van, fill it up with toilet paper, Kleenex, paper towels, and we
You would have done good during the pandemic.
Yeah, he would have been amazing. And he would sell it by the case.
No kidding.
By the case,
Yeah.
we used to, there were 42,000 pounds, there used to be, of paper towels in a van. And the van used to park there on a Friday afternoon and pick it up Monday morning, empty.
So when did you do that initiative? When you only had the place in Valois? When did that initiative
Only in
start?
Valois.
Why did you do that initiative?
I did it there because I had no difficulty parking, because the land belonged to where I could park. You know, I didn't have to pay anybody for parking. So I asked the guy, the truck driver, leave it there. I asked his boss, leave it there for Friday.
And so this is because there was a lot of people who couldn't come to you because they were elderly or sick or what?
Well, I think I used to make on a case of paper towel, I used to make something like 10 cents. But it was a steal. It was a real good bargain.
And this way people didn't have to leave their homes.
No, they didn't have to leave their homes. They could come directly. The sale was done outside in the van. I used to have a cash register and a girl outside, and they paid the girl at the
You mean
cash.
to say it didn't drive around? It was out of the
No,
van.
they would come and park their car right next.
So it was like a canteen for toilet paper and
Take the whole case, the whole cases.
So the van is there selling the goods,
in
Is
the
it-
parking lot
Is it
in
because
Vawa.
it was a novelty, or why didn't
It
you
was
just,
a novelty.
It's just a novelty.
It was a novelty.
Instead of just bringing the stuff in the store and walking in the
Well,
store.
yeah, we couldn't have all the cases, you know, you'd buy like a truckload of,
So it's just an extra space. It's
yes,
just like having
you'd
extra
have like
space.
one and we'd run out and we'd order.
It was a
another
big van, the whole van. The van is what, maybe
Was it, alcohol?
70 feet long, something like that. It was packed solid.
Oh, a van or a truck?
No, a van. A big van.
Size ruler.
Oh, wow.
Yep. We used to sell every bit of it. We got into, and that continued on for what, 3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
Who came up with that idea? That was you that came up with that idea? So you're the helicopter guy idea?
Yeah.
You're the van idea?
Yeah.
The advertisements in the Lakeshore News.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know how it worked back then, because the ads, like this one here, who chose the graphics and stuff? Like, there's people like going to get pills, or all the little animations and the little cartoons.
Was
and stuff.
the guy who's owned
Was
the
Freeman?
election? Yeah, it was Freeman.
So what would you tell him? Would you tell him I want a family, or I want a kid, or I want to, or would he?
Or I would cut it out of a newspaper or something. This is what I want to do. I just give him what I thought, and he would take it from there.
And he would pick some. I'm guessing. He
Yeah,
had
and I always had it on the first page that you opened up. When were Jim? Oh boy.
Win with Jim.
After
It's
when I was
catchy.
when I was elected to the College of Pharmacy, Montreal College of Pharmacy, you had to have votes, and I visited as many pharmacists as I possibly could, with the hope that they would vote for me, and they voted for me, and I was elected with 4 other pharmacists to form the College of Pharmacy. And I was elected as the treasurer of the College of Pharmacy. I had a budget of approximately $200,000 in the bank, because that money was going to be used if ever we got into a legal battle with the College of Physicians, and it never really happened. It was for a 2-year period.
And win with Jim.
When were Jim?
And I'm guessing the
You-
guy who came up
I
with
hate
the
the dust,
van
I hate the
and
dust.
The helicopter. You also came up with the slogan. You're a slogan man yourself. Okay. Well, that's it. That's all I got for you.
Yay.
I hope did you enjoy it?
Did you enjoy yourself?
I feel clean.
Feel clean.
Like you got out everything.